for RTV News. Of course, I want to begin by congratulating the Muslim community for having reached the end of Ramadan. My name is William Evans. Let's have a look at the headlines. The Mufti of Rwanda, Sheikh Sindayigaya Musa, has reminded Muslims that there are only a few days left before Rwandans enter the 31st commemoration of the genocide against the Tutsi, urging them to take part and do support the survivors. Members of Parliament have urged the Minister of Local Government to assess whether low-income youths and elderly individuals over 65 years could be eligible for VUP loans to help them achieve financial independence rather than remain a burden on the state. On the international scene, Hamas's chief negotiator says that the militant group has approved a new Gaza ceasefire proposal by mediators Egypt and Qatar. Of course, many thanks for joining us, and again, congratulations to the Muslim community. To kick us off tonight, the Mufti of Rwanda, Sheikh Sindayigaya Musa, has reminded Muslims that there are only a few days left before Rwandans enter the 31st commemoration of the genocide against the Tutsi, urging them to take part and support survivors. He spoke about this on Sunday during the prayers that concluded the holy month of Ramadan. We do have more on this. After 29 days of fasting, Muslims in Rwanda and the rest of the world have today attended a prayer that marks the end of the holy month, Ramadan. At the national level, this prayer took place at Kigali Pele Stadium in Nyamirambo and was attended by many Muslims, particularly those living in Kigali. The Mufti of Rwanda, who led this prayer, called on to Muslims to appreciate the value of having a peaceful country that grants them the freedom of worship. My message to all Muslims is simple. All this is possible because we have a supportive government that respects the freedom of worship. I urge the Muslim community and other religions to continue praying for our nation and wishing it prosperity. Let us continue to build it, protect it at all costs, and it is forbidden for any of us to betray our own motherland or even collaborate with anyone who intends to betray it. This nation is our greatest heritage and our portion. Participants in this prayer affirmed that this period has left them with much, including continuing to help the less fortunate and honoring God. We must continue honoring God and support the vulnerable, including orphans and widows. This period taught me collaboration and working together and being kind. This was a good time for me to pray, and among other things, we have been encouraged to be kind to humanity and helping the vulnerable. The Mufti of Rwanda, Sheikh Sindayigaya Musa, encouraged Muslims to continue their good deeds and reminded them that there are only a few days left to the 31st commemoration of the genocide against the Tutsi. I am calling upon all Muslims and Rwandans to get ready to participate actively in the different scheduled activities as we enter into the Kwibuka period. It is important for us to remember the atrocities that were committed against the Tutsi, whose effects we can still see until now. I also encourage all of us to particularly look out for the survivors of the genocide against the Tutsi and comfort them, and above all, support them in their personal growth and development. After this prayer, Muslims continue to share in fellowship within their families. In Nyamirambo, in the city of Kigali, Gatsinzi Haruna and his family shared a meal with several less fortunate individuals. He stated that this is a tradition taught by Islam, while those they shared with appreciated how the more fortunate remember them. We usually feast at the end of the fasting period, and we are pleased with sharing with both Muslims and non-Muslims as we celebrate the end of our fasting period, and this is among the canons of Islam because Islam is love. We are overjoyed by such acts of kindness, and those who can afford are always looking out for those and make us also celebrate and enjoy our day just like any other person. I am happy to have joined my neighbor for the celebration and feasting. Because I live with disabilities, this kind of love demonstrated by my neighbors makes me feel good. Love always wins. The Muslim community in Rwanda announced that this month they collected over 33 million Rwandan francs, which was used to buy food for the less fortunate Muslims on Eid Day. And now, members of parliament have urged the Minister of Local Government to assess whether low-income youth and elderly individuals over 65 years old could be eligible for VUP loans to help them achieve financial independence rather than remain a burden to the state. One of the key demands from low-income youth is access to the Vision Umurenje program loans, which are currently allocated to vulnerable individuals and come with low interest rates. They believe such financial support would enable them to invest in small-scale businesses and improve their livelihoods. A report from MP's field visit earlier this year highlighted cases where funds were not reaching intended beneficiaries, raising concerns that the program's objectives might not be fully utilized. Existing regulations state that individuals above 64 years are not eligible for these loans. This prompted MPs to request the Minister of Local Government to reconsider this policy as a way of reducing the number of people depending on government support. Despite these concerns, over 1.4 billion Rwandan francs remains idle in the sector-level circles, unused by intended beneficiaries. The Minister of Local Government, Dr. Mugenzi Patrice, stated that they will continue working with relevant institutions to enhance the effectiveness of the program. The VUP loan scheme, introduced in 2008, was introduced in 2008 to alleviate poverty, has received over 41.4 billion Rwandan francs in funding. Since then, the government has waived the collateral requirements for vulnerable beneficiaries and reduced interest rates from 11% to 2% per year. And currently, repayment rates for VUP loans stands at over 80%, according to data from the Ministry of Local Government. And now, moving on Saturday evening, the BK Arena hosted the groundbreaking musical event. Tonight is the night. We caught up with the organizers ahead of the event to speak to them about the significance of what was being organized at the arena.
Theatre started many, many centuries ago, and it was a form of expression, but also a form of entertainment and information to people before radio, before TV. And theatre was done on the plays of West End and Broadway, where the likes of Shakespeare. Musical theatre came along a little bit later when they realized music is also just as much as an expression. So musical theatre is a way of depicting a story, but with joy, emotion, and with song. This particular show of Tonight is the Night is about love, life, and infidelity, and actually tells a story about exactly that. And that's why we are doing it, to tell a story, but in a place, in a beautiful country like Kigali in Rwanda, where theatre has been a little bit lost. And now there's an opportunity to revitalize it. Thus, Tonight is the Night. The reason I chose to bring Tonight is the Night to Rwanda is I admire our president. I admire our country. He started the journey by looking after the principles first: health, education, life. He then went and looked after sport. Now he's looking after the MICE sector, and the entertainment component is part of the MICE sector, and he welcomes it and encourages it. And because of that platform, I have seen here at the BK Arena many a local event take place here, and crying for opportunity. And here we are creating an opportunity for our community, for our youngsters, for our creatives to express their art, not necessarily on a stage for 10,000 people, but on the stage like theatre for 1,000 people. So there's an opportunity, whether it be poetry, whether it be song, whether it be narration. It all can happen here at the BK Arena, and we're hoping Tonight is the Night is the catalyst that encourages that.
Now, more than just a musical, this reimagined production, originally performed in South Africa, marked the first ever large-scale musical theatre event at the BK Arena, unlocking new possibilities for theatre enthusiasts, artists, and event organizers seeking world-class performance space.
So I played the Fire Mistress as well. We did the show in South Africa, in Cape Town, and I played the Fiery Mistress as well. It was very nerve-wracking for me because this is the first time I did something like that. But doing it here in Kigali, in Rwanda, I feel more a bit confident because I know what to expect, and I know what my role entails. So I feel a bit more comfortable in my role here in Kigali. you know, the kind of music that's in Tonight's the Night is music that people in Rwanda don't really know about. So for me, my nerves don't come in with doing the show, with the actual show, but the nerves come in because you don't know how people will perceive it. They're either going to love it or they're going to hate it. So yes, I'm hoping that people love it. I think they will. And yeah, you know, this is very exciting for me because since I've been in Rwanda, I've come across a whole lot of talent. And I was like gobsmacked because I couldn't believe what raw talent Rwanda has. And I hope and pray that it takes and we can do more shows like that and find other talent to put them on the same platform to elevate them in their field. And that would be great. I mean, that's my wish.
Now, the event has been applauded as a statement and a movement and a testament to Kigali's readiness to embrace diverse artistic expression and told a powerful story of love, betrayal, and redemption through a dynamic blend of classic love songs and contemporary music, appealing to a wide audience. Beyond its entertainment value, the production was a catalyst for change, introducing musical theatre to new audiences, fostering young talent, and demonstrating the potential for Kigali to host excellent theatre production. Now moving on, motorcycle owners in Rwanda are raising concerns over the rising cost of insurance, blaming the lack of competition since only one company, Radiant, currently offers the service. They argue that Radiant has the freedom to set prices as it wishes since no other insurance provider is covering motorcycles. Radiant, however, explains that other insurance companies have pulled out due to high number of accidents involving motorcycles, which makes insuring them financially unsustainable. Economic experts support this claim, stating that unless motorcycle accidents decrease, insurance prices will continue to rise as insurers calculate premium based on expressed profitability. The National Bank of Rwanda recently reported that the cost of a motorcycle insurance is rising due to the increasing number of accidents and claims. While the bank advises motorcyclists to adopt safer riding habits to control insurance costs, it does not clarify what would happen if Radiant also decided to stop insuring motorcycles. Currently, 78,798 motorcycles are insured by Radiant, and in 2020, the company paid close to 4.3 billion in claims for 3,890 motorcycles, for 3,890 motorcycle accidents. By 2024, the number of accidents had doubled to 6,265, with payouts exceeding 14 billion. As a result, the cost of insurance for motorcycles less than 5 years has surged from 45,000 in 2028 to 182,000 today. However, to ease the burden on riders, Radiant has introduced a daily installment payment plan, allowing motorcyclists to pay 1,000 per day. Also, moving on, the new sustainable public procurement policy is being piloted this year and next with the goal of boosting Rwanda's economy, protecting the environment, and improving citizens' livelihoods. The Director General of Rwanda Public Procurement Authority has explained that this policy aims to ensure government contracts are awarded in a sustainable manner. According to officials in the Ministry of Environment, the policy will help implement measures to protect the environment by reducing greenhouse gas emission, and additionally, the adoption of technology in procurement process is expected to curb corruption and promote transparency. The new SPP policy is set to introduce a strategic approach to public procurement by promoting local industries, encouraging the use of sustainable materials, and creating green jobs. This initiative is expected to enhance workforce capacity while improving citizens' overall well-being. Now, moving on to something a bit funnier rather, Arsenal fans in Rwanda are organizing the Arsenal African Festival 2025, an event that will feature a variety of activities, including football matches, fun gatherings, culture exhibitions, community service initiatives, and more. We do have a report on this. In 2025, the festival is expected to include charity efforts, such as supporting survivors of the genocide against the Tutsi in Rwanda through activities organized by funds and local community partners. This would be part of a broader effort to engage with and give back to local communities while celebrating the Arsenal spirit.
The activities, we have our core activity, which is the charity activity. That is an activity to support the mental health in the framework of commemoration of the genocide against the Tutsi. We will be supporting a center, Aheza Healing and Career Center, a center located in Bugesera, Nharama. A center that is set to help survivors who really encounter issues of mental health.
The Oreo basket team will participate in activities to plant trees across the country. The president of the team, Tavas James, mentioned that they would utilize the campaign through sports and are delighted to collaborate with Arsenal fans in Rwanda.
We are a club that does activities beyond playing basketball. We call it, it's not just basketball. So we were delighted to partner with Rwanda Arsenal fans in planting trees. During the festival, we will be partnering with Rwanda Arsenal fans in planting trees, as they will also be doing other community impact initiatives. That's our part during the campaign. Yes, our contribution is planting trees, making sure that as they are doing the impact in the community, helping genocide survivors, helping people on mental health, we will also be supporting and making sure that not only they are mentally healthy, but they're also living in a healthy environment. We are planting trees, specifically more of fruit trees.
Mlenzi Patrick, the Healing Operations Manager at Aheza Center, says that this festival will help them construct a studio which will be utilized by the center to create awareness on mental health and mental health issues, especially for genocide survivors.
This center was established to contribute to mental health and solving many of the problems, mental health challenges actually, faced by genocide survivors and general population. So this center now, the Arsenal funds are supporting us to establish a studio that will help us to deliver key messages to not only to survivors but Rwandans on how to cope with mental health challenges, but also to learn from the other who recovered from different kind of mental health issues, include of course post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, anxiety, and many other kind of mental health issues.
The festival will be taking place for the 6th time, with approximately 1,000 Arsenal fans from 14 countries expected to attend, making it the second time it is being held in Rwanda since the last event in 2018. Now, to more news, 80 women from across Rwanda have completed a 4-day workshop in Musanze focused on combating workplace harassment. They committed to strengthening efforts to eliminate harassment and raising awareness among their colleagues. The workshop was organized by COTRAF Rwanda and the Labour and Workers Solidarity Platform, and brought together women from various trade unions in the country. According to the head of COTRAF Rwanda, the discussions aimed at empowering women in addressing workplace harassment, especially gender-based violence, and participants found that sessions valuable, with some acknowledging that they had previously encountered workplace harassment without recognizing it. The training was based on international law, International Labour Organization Convention C-190, which Rwanda has ratified, emphasizing the country's commitment to ensuring a safe and harassment-free work environment.
mvangiyeho kubarira 1 2 3 itugwamo. So 1 2 3 gwamo. One, bro.
Kuwa mbere kanda akanyenyeri 3 4 5 akanyenyeri 2 urwego maze nawe ukuremo.
Ndanezero umunezero nsaba umutima ndakora akazi kanjye ndacatinga data ntizishira enda nawe gwamo
wikwisondeka.
Now, thank you so much for sticking around. On the international scene, Hamas chief negotiator says that the militant group has approved a new Gaza ceasefire proposal by mediators Egypt and Qatar. Israel has put forward a counter-offer. In coordination with the United States, Israel ended the truce in Gaza earlier this month, leaving little for Palestinians in the Strip to celebrate as they mark the Muslim holiday of Eid al-Fitr. DW with the details.
Tradition is alive with these Palestinians praying among the ruins of Gaza. The start of the Eid al-Fitr holiday has been marred by renewed Israeli airstrikes and ground operations.
It's an Eid of sadness. We lost our loved ones, we lost our children, our lives and our futures. We lost our students, our schools and our institutions. We lost everything. Nothing remains.
Israel and Hamas blame each other for the collapse of the fragile ceasefire, which only lasted for 2 months. The Hamas-run health ministry in Gaza says more than 900 people have been killed since Israeli airstrikes resumed last week. But now a top Hamas official says the Palestinian militant group has agreed to a new ceasefire proposal.
2 days ago, we received a proposal from the mediating brothers in Egypt and Qatar. We dealt with it positively and agreed to it. We hope that the occupation will not obstruct it or strain the efforts of the mediators.
According to Israeli media, the new proposal includes the release of 5 more hostages in exchange for a 50-day truce. The Israeli government says it received the plan and submitted a counter-proposal coordinated with the US. But with no deal yet in place, Israel is pushing ahead with its renewed offensive in Gaza. These images published by the Israeli army on Saturday claim to show strikes in the south. The military says Israeli troops are now working to expand the buffer zone along the borders of the territory. Meanwhile, in Tel Aviv, thousands of people have again taken to the streets to protest against Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. They're calling on the government to end its assault on Gaza.
I'm here today because, like every day, I'm calling for a ceasefire, the end of the war, the return of the hostages and the return to the negotiating table, because we must bring back the 59 hostages who are there. Those who are still alive will not survive there.
For now, all eyes are on the negotiators, trying to bring about a new truce in this relentless war.
More to the international news. Poland has for long been deeply Catholic, but the young generations are walking away from the church. In many parishes, pews are empty, and however, in one of the cities, a priest is drawing crowds. DW continues.
A typical Sunday morning in Poland. 3 churches hold Mass, and in all 3 the pews are nearly empty. Is the Catholic Church in Poland facing a crisis?
The Christian church doesn't have a good reputation right now.
I'm not a believer. The church is a profoundly toxic institution.
But then, one church breaks the pattern. St. John's Church in Gdansk. Every Sunday, Rector Krzysztof Niedautowski fills his church with people, with music, and with sermons that hold up an unflinching mirror to the congregation.
Every one of us is something of a hypocrite, an actor, someone trying to look different, better, more positive in the eyes of others than we really are.
These sermons really impress me. He interprets the Gospels in a way that feels relevant to our times.
I know there's a crisis in the Polish church, and young people especially are distrustful. But that depends on how you engage with them. If you take people seriously and speak in a normal way, that makes a big difference.
But the half-empty churches reflect the reality of Catholicism in many parts of Poland. On the streets, however, it's a different picture. Buildings and squares are covered with images of John Paul II, the Polish Pope, still admired and even venerated as a saint 20 years after his death.
I'm afraid I no longer have much to do with the Catholic faith. So for me, John Paul II is purely of historical significance. I don't feel any spiritual connection.
Poland was once home to Europe's most devout Catholics. The church no longer releases current membership statistics. But surveys show that many 18 to 25-year-olds want nothing to do with it. 30 years ago, nearly 2/3 of young Poles practiced their faith. Today, it's fewer than 1 in 4.
I'm especially critical of the role of priests and the abuse of their power. Religion and church institutions should be kept separate from the state.
Why have so many Poles turned away from the church? At the University of Gdansk, religious scholar Krzysztof Ulanowski is looking for answers.
Young people want to live by their own values and freedoms. They don't want anyone telling them what's right or wrong. From their point of view, the church often goes too far.
What exactly are those interventions? One example is abortion. The former right-wing populist government introduced an almost total ban, sparking mass protests, but the church supported the government's position.
Whether the church gets involved in politics should be a matter of personal conscience. The church is meant to be universal. Universal. That means non-partisan.
Non-partisan and accountable. The Polish church has faced hundreds of allegations of sexual abuse and has been accused of dragging its feet when it comes to investigations and compensating victims. On top of that, many Poles view the church's funding model as outdated. Each year, millions of euros from the state budget go to the Catholic Church. The government's response was to propose cutting religious education hours in public schools by half. But the church challenged the decision in court. At St. John's, the rector wraps up another sermon, this one with a hint of self-irony.
Sure, I forgive myself. I know myself well enough. I'm no pig. I'm basically an honest person.
He believes the church's outdated structures can still be reformed.
I believe in small groups, the church from below. That's where life is. That's where something more authentic can grow. Far more than in the top-down Polish church of the past.
We asked the Catholic Church for an interview. They sent a written statement. It is not a desire to please the modern world or popularity, but faithfulness to Jesus Christ and his teachings that are the guiding principles of the Church's actions.
In my view, the church doesn't want to change. It wants the world to change to fit its ideals.
Still, some change is coming, slowly but surely, and the joyful Mass at St. John's could offer a glimpse of what's possible.
Now, exactly 32 minutes past the hour, and that brings us to the end of tonight's edition. But before you go, let's have a look at the headlines one more time. The Mufti of Rwanda, Sheikh Sindai Gaya Musa, has reminded Muslims that there are only a few days left before Rwandans enter the 31st commemoration of the genocide against the Tutsi, urging them to take part and support the survivors. Members of Parliament have urged the Minister of Local Government to assess whether the low-income youth and elderly individuals over 65 years could be eligible for VUP loans to help them achieve financial independence rather than remain a burden on the state. In Gaza, Hamas's chief negotiator says the militant group has approved a new Gaza ceasefire proposal by mediators Egypt and Qatar. Of course, it was nice having you join us on RwandaTV News in English. Until next time, I am William Evans, wishing you the best of the week. Good night.